Okay, well, this week we are finally, after months, maybe a full year even, of anticipation, doing the newest Scorsese film, Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, I think I speak for both of us when I say that Scorsese is one of my favorite content creators. Sorry, I can't. All right. So this week, how do we start these? Okay, so this week we are discussing Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese's most recent film. After months of anticipation, I've been really excited to see this in theaters. A whopping 3 hours long. It is based on a book of the same name, Killers of the Flower Moon, and it covers these murders that were going on in Oklahoma, targeting members of the Osage tribe of Native Americans. It is gut-wrenching, highly emotional, and it has a very impactful conclusion, in my opinion. I'm really excited to talk about it, learn what you think, Hunter, because that's what we're doing here.
It is what we're doing here. Well, actually, no, it's not. We're not here to figure out what I think or what you think. We're here to ask one question and one question only. And that is, but is Killers of the Flower Moon good?
What do you think?
I'll tell you. Oh, talking to Athena? She's a dog. She can't talk.
She can communicate with me.
Well, at the end of the episode, we'll ask her and we'll see what she says.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep. She's really excited about it. But is it good podcast? Yeah. Hello.
Hello. How are you, Zach?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You been busy?
I've been so busy this weekend. I didn't have any time to do anything except for see this movie without you.
Wow. That sounds like a busy weekend.
Couldn't fit you in.
Sounds almost like you're bitter about it.
Couldn't fit you in.
You couldn't fit me in?
Nope.
Does that mean you're a bad friend?
No, it means I couldn't fit you in.
Are you saying, theoretically speaking, if somebody couldn't fit you in, they'd be a bad friend?
No. No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
You're just mad at that person, theoretically speaking.
No, I'm not mad at anybody.
And they've been in a feud for a week, unbeknownst to the other person.
See, okay, unbeknownst to the other person, because I didn't realize we were in a feud. I've just been busy.
I was talking about me.
Well, so both of us, you think that we're in a feud and we're not. I've just been busy.
We can fight on the podcast. But
Welcome to the But Is It Good podcast. I am your host, Zach Olson.
And I am your host, Hunter Callahan. And we're just joking around, man. We're just joking around. I'm just kidding.
Just being playful.
Just being playful, you know. We're doing a podcast about a movie. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. But Zach, I do hope that you're good. I hope that you had a very good weekend.
Yeah, I had a lot going on. But yes, it was a good weekend overall because I was doing so many different things. How was your weekend?
I was so busy. I was just so busy. I actually was, but it was a good weekend. Had a lot of stuff happen this week that I was excited about, and it was fun. And now it's time to kind of slow down for a little bit. What time did you see this movie at? Because you texted me at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
So the show time was 11 p.m.
Oh, yikes. Yeah. Good Lord.
And, you know, there's 20 minutes of previews. Then you got to you got to sit through well, you might not have to because you saw it probably not at an AMC theater, but I sat through like the Nicole Kidman, here they are, you know, that whole thing. And yeah, so it didn't get rolling until probably 11:25.
We saw
and I got out at basically 3 a.m.
Yeah, I saw it at 7:30 and I got home at like 11:10. It's crazy. Yep. Anyway, please like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. We're doing the new Scorsese. Scorsese. Marty.
Scorsese.
Scorsese movie, the new Scorsese movie. They were doing Killers of the Flower Moon. This will be a heck of a film to talk about. It's 3.5 hours long, but only 2 people in the world are qualified to do that, Zach, and that happens to be me and you. So,
you're so right. We went to college.
We.
I
went late, but I did go.
Yeah.
Still counts.
And we both took film classes.
We did. I have a degree in it, actually.
I have a degree in psychology, but I took psychology of film classes.
That probably helps you understand movies more than most. Anyway, Zach, actually, this is your episode, so I'm going to stop talking. Who do you want to go first?
What were you going to ask me? Is that what you were going to ask me?
I was going to ask you about your
because I'm not
first
some
reactions.
dictator. I'm not.
Actually, for this episode, because it's yours, I'm going to not speak the entire time.
The entire episode? Even if I prompt you with a question, you're just going to stare at me?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, this is about to get real fun. So we'll talk about the movie. We will. But first, I want to talk about why is it that when you buy fruit at the grocery store and you bring it home, and then it's so fresh looking, it looks so good. You bring it home, and it's like the next day, it's like fucking brown spots on your apple, and you're like, I don't want brown spots on my apple. Why are there brown spots on my apple?
Or you get really wrinkly strawberries in 24 hours.
Strawberries are crazy because I'll buy the nicest looking strawberries. You've never seen strawberries this good.
Oh, right? Okay.
and you bring them home, and they'll last 4 days. But if you don't eat them in that 4-day period, oops, there's white fuzzy on them. They got no,
gross.
You've never seen that? Y'all eat strawberries quick.
Yeah, no, I have. I've seen it. Trust me, because we'll buy strawberries, but then Hannah's parents will buy strawberries, and one of them's not getting eaten. We don't eat that many strawberries, and then you come back a week later, and you're just like, what is this growing in the fridge?
Yeah, what's going on here? Whereas there are some fruits that last.
Yeah,
citrus fruits usually last pretty long.
I was gonna say lemons,
which is a citrus fruit.
Would count. That would count. Yeah.
I fucking love lemons. Lemons are so versatile.
Watermelon lasts decently long.
Yeah, it's got a thick shell.
Thick. Why'd you ask me that? Just because you were thinking about it?
You said that you weren't going to speak, so I thought I thought I had an hour to fill. And in the process of talking about fruit, I broke you of your goal. So now you have to. Now you have to talk. That was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. All I had to do was mention fruit vaguely.
I was like, backed off of fruit. I love fruit.
You backed off of your convictions. So I think this is the part in the episode where we give our first impressions of the film.
I think you're right. Who wants to go first?
So since I'm the leader, but keep in mind I'm not a dictator.
I was about to say.
I have a really itchy nose. If you see me I'm sorry. If you see me
Only
grabbing my nose.
Right in the camera. Dude, you know what's funny? Hold on. You know what's funny? I promise you. Just hang with us. We're going to talk about the movie. Scratching your nose is so weird. Because you ever done the full palm?
Yes. Yes. I've done the finger
and it's like your nose is actively just breaking, but it's feels so good.
My go-to is the pinch.
Oh yeah.
Because whenever I get an itchy nose, it's always right at the inside of the tip.
Yeah.
The inner tip.
But when you do the palm, you go in a circular motion, and it's just how does your nose do that?
And does yours pop the cartilage?
You can hear it.
It's and you're I just ripped my nose off.
It's the best feeling though. It's the best feeling.
So anyways, I have an itchy nose for some reason. I think it's because goldenrod is in season right now. You're looking at me like you've never heard the word goldenrod in your life.
I haven't.
It's a weed. You know, when you're driving out towards you're going towards Sonoya, or maybe you're going out towards Serenbe or something. Shit, you could be going to Trilith, and you on the side of the road you just see these big clusters of yellow yellow stuff
okay.
sticking up.
Okay.
Goldenrod. It's called goldenrod because
gotcha.
it looks like golden rods. So now you know.
Now I know. Now I know.
Now you know.
I'm gonna use that word tomorrow somehow.
You're just gonna
Be like,
fit it into a
there's
sentence.
so much fucking goldenrod out today.
But it's gonna be really, really inorganic. Like someone's gonna be like, Hunter, can you take a look at these composite shots? And you're gonna be like, I'll do it better than goldenrod. And they're gonna be like, what? And then you're just gonna walk away and fist pump because you did it. You fit it in there.
That's so funny. All right, we're back. Here we go.
Do you look at composite shots, or did I just like pull that out of my ass?
No, I do sometimes. Not a ton on my team. I'm more in line with like the edits of graphics and like what the client wants. But yeah, I'll look at rough edits and stuff and everything. I'll be like,
cool.
God, that looks better than goldenrod. Just walk away.
That's better than goldenrod. Okay, Hunter, I want you to go first. Tell me what you thought of this film.
This film is something, man. It's tough. This is a tough movie to watch sometimes. But it is. What were you gonna say?
You said sometimes, as if you've seen it more than once already.
Well, no, I'm saying like
at like different times of the day and like
yeah.
different days of the week.
If you see it in mid-afternoon, it's really tough. No, there's a lot. It's a really heavy film. It's really sad. It's really sad, but it's really, really great. It's masterfully made. It's got a great cast, surprising cast, great performances, and it feels really. It doesn't pull any punches. I think this is still Scorsese at his best. I think it's just, I don't know. It's hard to really quantify it, I guess. My biggest complaint is that there are parts of me where it did feel long, where I was like, "Whew, this is still got an hour left." You know what I mean? Like, I think of Oppenheimer, and that's a long movie, but I wasn't like, "Gosh, how much longer?" In this one, I had some moments where I was like, "This is it kind of drug is not the right term, because it wasn't like I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, God, this is going on and on."
Yeah,
it was just like just a lot. It's just a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
But I think it's brilliant. I think it's really an incredible piece, and I love that 80-year-old Scorsese is just like saying, "I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to, and make whatever I want to." And it was 3.5 hours. Apple, because Apple made this for him. The studio just says, "Sure, go for it," because The Irishman was like over 3 hours, right?
Yes. The Irishman was very long.
Yeah.
209 minutes. Do the math.
Yeah, that's 3 hours and 19 minutes. No, it's not. 329 minutes. Oh, so it's actually longer than this.
Not 329 minutes, you absolute dope. You less than a grain of sand that Hayden Christensen hates.
I'm less than a strand of goldenrod, aren't I?
Sorry. I did, because when I messed up, whatever that was,
yeah,
I like really wanted you to go for it,
Yeah.
so.
I appreciate that. I needed that today. No, I did love it. That's the thing, is I love this movie. It was a lot of emotions, but I think it was brilliant. I need some more espresso. I feel like I'm dragging. Your turn.
Get some, and then you'll be up. Weren't you up until like 3 a.m. last week?
No, it wasn't that late, but I was like laying in bed at midnight, just like wide awake. I was like, I feel like I could run through a wall.
That's crazy.
Dude, this Nespresso is so good. It's so good, man. I've already had a cup today. I had a double espresso today, and I don't even drink caffeine.
It's just pods?
Yeah, but we got a milk frother.
Okay, yeah.
So we froth some milk and put some little bit of syrup in there and combine it.
Yeah.
Make it like flat whites and shit.
Syrup. What kind of syrup? Like maple?
I favor the caramel.
Okay.
Caramel.
Okay. Maple. Why don't people put maple in coffee?
I don't know.
Seems like that'd be good.
I love a maple donut.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tell.
I love maple syrup on pancakes.
Just wanted to tell you, man. Oh man, we gotta focus in. Here we go. All right, your turn. I went.
Okay. I agree a lot with what you said. So I don't want to like re-harp on things that you said. I want to bring something new and unique to the table. There were times where the way the story unfolded sort of caught me off guard, and I know that the more I think about them, and maybe we can unpack them, but my assumption is that there is a reason for it, because it seems like we were going from like point A to point B to point C, like throughout the film. But there were a couple times where like it felt like really randomly it would be like flashback to this event, but it's just like a 10-second little clip, and then now we're back in the linear. And so that was like an interesting like change of pace. And I agree with you that there were times where it felt long. There were lulls, I would say, and I think that, I mean, we've spoken highly of lulls in some film, because sometimes you need a break to break up pieces of information, break up plot points, and this film definitely had some heavy content matter that like, or subject matter. I just brought up content in the same like sentence, like we're talking about Scorsese, and I don't want to mention content, you know.
But he's a great content creator.
He is a great content creator, one of the best. Yeah. Long
form content creator.
Yeah, and one last thing I want to say. There were multiple, like at least 3 or 4 cameos that like caught me so off guard, but I loved them. They were great.
Yeah. Do you think that they detracted from the film? Like, did it?
No,
it just sort of was like, well, yeah. I think I was saying earlier, like it's a surprising cast.
yeah.
Like Jason Isbell's in this. Do you know who he is?
I know, yeah. And the second he came on screen, I was like, that's Jason fucking Isbell.
I didn't even know that he even acted. I was like, what is he doing in this movie?
Well, I don't think he does that often. Like, he may have been in like 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
But who's the other country singer? Sturgill Simpson was in this? Did you recognize him?
I didn't even catch him.
So, do you know who Sturgill Simpson is?
Yes, I do. I don't know if I know what he looks like, to be honest with you.
Okay. Look at him.
I'm looking up.
Look at him with your eyes. He was like the horse rider, famous guy, like cowboy, whatever. Or maybe he was a country singer in this. I don't know.
Oh,
Anyways,
wow.
Sturgill Simpson was also in The Creator, and I didn't realize it until I saw him in this and was like, holy shit.
Wait, who does he play in The Creator?
Do you remember when they go to like the super high-tech city and he meets up with somebody? It's Sturgill Simpson. And the guy is like dating a synthetic, or
wait, that's the guy. That's the guy at the very beginning who like is almost What?
Sturgill Simpson. Anyways,
What?
I don't want to derail this because I want to talk about the cameos, but I don't think that's the primary subject matter that you know. So
yeah, Jack White's in this too. Sorry,
I know Jack White, Martin Scorsese.
he is in it. Yeah, he is.
But yeah. So we'll get into it. It's now time for Movie in a Minute. So tell us what Movie in a Minute is, Hunter.
Movie in a Minute is when Zach, or the participating individual, has 60 seconds, which is commonly referred to as a minute. He has that amount of time to discuss the entire film. That means every scene, every actor, every line of dialogue, every behind-the-scenes story, everything about the film, and you have 60 seconds exactly. You can't do it faster. You don't get anyone. You that's called failing, and if you do take longer, that's also called failing. And we don't fail in this podcast; we succeed. So Zach is going to attempt to describe all 206 minutes of this film. 206 minutes of this film in 1 minute, and that is why we call it Movie in a Minute. So, Zach, whenever you are prepared to take on this endeavor, please let us know.
Okay. Here we go. I don't want to... All right. This is...
Good luck.
This is Killers of the Flower Moon, Movie in a Minute in 3, 2, 1, go. Cold open, we learn about the Osage tribe. They come into wealth because there's oil on their land, but the rules of their like reservation that they're on require that they have these guardians that keep track of their money. White people come in, and there's this crime boss, essentially. His name is William King Hale, and he's like manipulated and pulling strings and shit. His nephew, who is portrayed by Leo DiCaprio, comes and he says, "I love women and I love money, sir." He falls in love with a girl named Molly. They kill Molly's entire family systematically, like over the course of, years, it seems like. And he does love her, but he's also like complicit in the murder of her entire family. So it's really fucked up. Anyways, eventually the whole thing unravels and they get caught, and she leaves him, and then it all gets like encapsulated in this like wonky radio show, and that's the end.
That was actually very, very good. Successful. I feel like I've seen the movie.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I even know like all the funny lines because it's like, I know all the lines, every line. No, well done. Okay, shall we? Let's dive in.
Mm-hmm. We shall.
Let me pull up some stuff because it's a lot of movie.
You didn't pull anything up? Okay.
No,
so
I've got it. I just had to switch over to it.
We open with this really cool like montage. Well, there's like singing in the background, and they're in their little hut, and they're getting rid of the pipe, right? Because it's like the moment when they realize that their children and the future generations are no longer going to be taught by them. They're going to be taught by
white people.
White people, essentially. And so it's very emotional. And then it cuts to oil just shooting up out of the ground, and they've found the oil, and we get a nice little montage about how wealthy that made them. Right?
It's wild to me. So this story is sort of like the Tulsa race riots in the sense, in a lot of ways, in the sense of that it's racially motivated, that kind of stuff. But it's sort of lost to time. Not lost. That's not fair. It's like hidden in time, kind of purposely, systematically, and it kind of has been dug out and revealed. And so there's a lot of information about this era and this kind of society with the Native Americans and stuff that like people, I didn't know a lot of this, like the crazy fact that they have to have white people manage their fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Like legally, they're it said they're the wealthiest people per capita in the world at the time, right? And they aren't legally allowed to use their own money without a white person saying that's allowed.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is insane. Like, we get the scene where Molly goes to the bank. This is a little bit later, so maybe we'll like wrap around and come back a little bit. But Molly goes to the bank to get some money out for medicine. And the guy's like, "Well, your mom spent $300 on meat last week. Don't you think that's a little suspicious?" That is a shit ton of meat.
It is, but like it's their money, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy. Because she say something like he's like, "Say your name," and she's like she says like Molly Kyle, then she says like incompetent or something like that, and it's like, what does that mean? Like they have to list themselves as incompetent or competent. This is crazy. And then Henry, I believe, because we meet Henry pretty early on. It sounded like he doesn't have a guardian, I think.
Who? Sorry.
Isn't it Henry? The melancholic, as they called him.
So some of them are unrestricted.
Henry Roan.
And I think Henry might have been an unrestricted, which I think means, he can pull out as much money as he wants.
I wonder what, qualifies somebody as that. Anyway, doesn't matter. So we see, they struck black gold if you will, and that's kind of we get these really cool this little montage of, I don't know if it's actual footage, like old footage, or if it's like just new that's created. I know some of it was probably new because we had the actors in it, but a lot of cool montage of like their wealth kind of growing and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then we meet Ernest with his little
frown.
His little frown that he always has. Who's kind of an idiot.
Yeah,
you know?
So Ernest is uncharismatic, unintelligent, and solely motivated by, like, it seems to me, money. And then a little bit of love, I guess, because it does seem like he has feelings for Molly. But it's so interesting to see this, like, story of this which we do need to talk about the fact that it's told from his perspective and not the perspective of the Osage, because there was an interview that came out of an interpreter who was saying, like, this is a great film, but it sort of highlights how maybe there is no way to accurately depict these events because it's not told from our perspective. He was basically saying that this movie should have been told from Molly's perspective. I
get that.
But it is it's very interesting to see a film from the perspective of this, like, he sucks, dude. Like, like straight from the beginning, he has no personality. He has a little bit of chemistry with Molly, but not really, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is kind of strange because he's not charming.
No, he's not charming at all. He's got this shitty little smile. He's not intelligent. He's always fucking things up, and he's just this sad little man being manipulated by this mean person.
Well, it's funny too because he literally has no guts. Like, he has something wrong with his stomach where, like, he can't lift, and I was just like, he's got no guts. Like, that's kind of very funny to me.
Yeah.
No, he's a conundrum because I don't. They have this long conversation, and I will say I think he's played wonderfully by Leo, but I also think I love the scenes with him and Robert De Niro. I think that's cinema, gold right there. There's that one. It's really early on, the scene when he gets to King. I mean, that he calls him King, right? King Hale's house.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in those chairs. Go on.
I was just gonna say it's interesting because he says, so Robert De Niro, who plays King Hale, says, like, do you remember calling me King when you were little? And Ernest does not look like he remembers that at all. I don't know if you picked up on that, but he's like, I guess so, sure, whatever. And it's probably a nickname that he's picked up since he's been there.
Well, yeah, because he called it. Someone says, like,
he's the king of
king of the Osage Hills.
Mm-hmm.
But like that whole scene is brilliant. But I forgot what I was going to say.
I fucked it up.
Anyway, no, but he's interesting because I know what it was. He keeps asking him stuff about, like, because he gets back from World War One, and he's like, "Are you, like, got your head on straight? Are you all good?" Making sure he's like nothing's wrong. Obviously, PTSD wasn't real. Just like they talk about depression, they call it just melancholy. Oh, you're sad, whatever. So we don't know what he was pre World War One, but he definitely is just. He doesn't seem to know. I don't know if I don't want to say right from wrong, but I guess that's it. Where he doesn't know that his own actions are going to go against what he actually loves, because he even says, like, he loves Molly, and I believe that. Like, when the reaction when his child dies, like, he obviously loves his family, but then he simultaneously is participating in this, and he just says, like, "Oh yeah, okay, that'd be great," like when King Hale's like, if you got those head rights, that'd be really something. That'd be really good. And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay."
Right.
Yeah. Not sure why I just made him sound like they're from Canada, but
yeah,
well.
don't you know?
So I don't know, but he he just isn't fun to watch. I don't think he's supposed to be either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's a stick in the mud.
Yeah, he really is.
I will say that first interaction between him and King Hale, I really like this movie, but that interaction, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. If the whole movie's
Really?
like this, because it was so like awkward to me. Like it was just so weird. I don't know. The interaction between them was weird, and I think it was meant to be. But like
Yeah.
I was like, I hope the whole film isn't like this.
Well, it's funny because even in that first interaction, like you definitely already see the power dynamic
Sure.
and like how King Hale is just sort of like the way he even talks. It's almost like nonchalant, where he's just like, I mean, he's so self-aware in kind of a disturbing way. Like he even says,
Right.
like, well, this wealth, from this ranch, he was like, it's gonna dry up, it's gonna go, it's gonna be gone
Because they're
So we
sickly
have to-
people.
Yeah, but and he's just saying like, so we have to basically find ways to expand that wealth, and he even says like the Osage, he's like they're brilliant, like just because they don't talk to you doesn't mean like he says all these things.
Right.
So it's really interesting because he always claims to be like a friend to the Osage and one of the most trusted white people in the town, yada yada yada. But he does seem to have a reverence for their intelligence. Does that make sense? Maybe it's just all a show. Who knows?
I think it's all a show.
Really?
I think one of the central themes of the movie, and it kind of is similar. You've seen The Irishman, right?
Yes, it's been a long time. I saw it once, but yes.
So it's kind of similar in this sense, but I think one of the main themes is like the both movies have this like liberal like benefactor who's like doing a service to the people, right? And like always, I'll be there, whatever you need. And then they actually turn out to be like the ultimate villain.
Yeah,
Right.
that's Hoffa, right? Jimmy Hoffa, Pacino's
Yes.
character. Yeah.
Right. So
Well, I think he's a great villain. Like I think he actually is like super menacing.
mm-hmm.
And it's funny because like early on you're like, man, Ernest sucks. But then you meet Hale and you're like, he sucks for a lot of different reasons. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Ernest
Yeah.
is just like kind of, I mean, he said it the best. He's a stick in the mud. But then you're like, Hale, you're like, he's just a slime ball. Like he's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And we slowly start to unravel as the film goes on that almost maybe every, I don't know, but almost every white person in the town is like in on it in some way.
Yeah, like it's wild actually. But I think we actually I think it's after that interaction. We get that like those cuts of the Osage who were already killed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Um,
And one of them, we see the murder happen. It's this woman with her child who's in a carriage,
yeah.
and he sticks the gun out the window and shoots her, which is,
and then
I don't
takes
know.
the baby.
Yeah. And then takes the baby and then puts the gun in her hand to make it look like it was a suicide.
How full was your theater?
Not very, because it was
I
11
know.
p.m.
Mine wasn't very full either on a Friday night at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
But when that happened, there were like audible gasps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie it's brutal in the depiction of it, as it should be if it's going to tell this story, And it's just crazy to me that this combination, I guess it's not crazy because it still happens today, but this combination of greed and then the dehumanization of another type of person, another race, another culture, whatever, And there's a scene, this is later on, we can kind of talk about this now if you want to, but there's a scene later on where Ernest is talking to somebody. I think it's, I don't know which one a person is. Jack, is that his name? I don't know his name. It's this guy with the mustache. And
Blackie?
no, it's not Blackie. It's the guy that he goes to after Blackie goes to jail because he stole his car. It's
Okay.
It was the guy who was working for Henry Gamble.
Henry Graham. Okay.
John Ramsey. John Ramsey is his name.
Okay.
And Ernest is talking to him, and he's like, "I need you to like do a job. Do a job for me. Just do this couple." And he's like, "Nah, man, I don't." Well, no, that's not it. It's Henry. He's like, "I need you to do a guy. He's a melancholic. He's already trying to kill himself." And he's like, "No, man, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff." And he goes, "Well, he's an Indian." And he goes, "Oh, well, that's different. Sure."
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like this, oh, well, that's not a human, I guess. But it's wild to me that because of that, and then this obsession with, money and the like lawlessness of the reservation in that area is just crazy. How it seemed like every single person, like you were saying, was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Hell yeah.
Right. They're all complicit or like directly involved. I guess that's what complicit means, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I know what you mean in the sense of like they're either turning a blind eye to it or they're actively like helping it move forward.
Right. And it unravels little by little. So we have Jason Isbell's character, Bill Smith, who is married to Minnie, who is Minnie is also Molly's sister, right? So there's like there's 5 sisters.
I think there's.
Okay, so we got Minnie, Rita, Anna, Molly.
That's it. I think it's 4.
Okay.
So 3 were sisters, and then Lizzie Q is the mom.
Yeah. So Bill, Jason Isbell, is married to Minnie. Minnie gets sick and succumbs to her illness. She just like dies of wasting away disease.
They call it the wasting illness, the wasting wasting sickness or something like that.
Which I don't know if you got this impression, and I haven't. I don't, like you said. There's a lot of the Georgia education system. I think did a disservice to us in some ways. Because I know very little about what happened, right?
Well, I don't think that's the Georgia education system. I think that's the United States education system.
Sure, that's fair. That's a good point. But I get the impression through the events of this film that maybe the wasting illness was actually them being given like spiked medicine that was making them sick.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think it's ever explicitly said that like Bill, is that his name?
Bill
is. It doesn't seem like he's working with Hale, but to me it's like he's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? He might not have the whole town in on it, but like because of what he does, and I'll let you because you get into this. What he does actually after Minnie dies. He
might. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
He might be one of the only people who's not in on it. So let's walk through this real quick.
No, I agree.
Okay,
I agree, but I'm saying like I still think he's doing it in a way on his own.
What do you mean?
Well, you walk through it first, then I'll rebuttal.
So Minnie dies, and then Anna dies. When Rita's house, when Anna dies, Bill has a private investigator, and he's trying to get to the bottom of who killed Rita. No, Anna, correct? And
no, I think
yes?
I think he's just doing it, isn't it? He's doing it. He's like asking.
Maybe he's doing it. Maybe he's doing it on his own. Okay, but he's trying to get to the bottom of who did this.
That is true.
King Hale doesn't like that. And do they kill him? What do they do to Bill? Oh, he's in the house when it blows up because he's married to Rita.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's why I don't think that he's doing the same thing as them, just like independently, because it makes sense to me that once King Hale got the in on Molly through his nephew, and so he could get the head right through him if they kill everyone around, right? At that point, the doctors that were obviously working with King Hale, the two shitty doctors,
yep,
that are like, oh, take this, blah, blah, blah. They could have been giving Bill bad medicine unbeknownst to Bill. And Bill could have been giving his wife this medicine thinking that it would help her. Just like, Ernest doesn't know that medicine's going to kill her because Ernest does not want to harm Molly. Ernest wants to help Molly. And he's giving her this medicine that is. So what are you saying?
Well, one thing about Ernest, and I want to talk about it later, that's why the end of it to me is really kind of heartbreaking. Maybe. I'm not sure, because when she asks him, like, what was in the medicine, I don't know if he knows.
Well, he knows that it was going to slow her down.
But he knows that it's something. So that's where, but what I was saying about Bill is that I'm not saying that he is like
trying to kill his wives,
trying to systematically kill off that family, but I think he is trying to be in that family on purpose.
Oh, well, yeah.
He marries, his wife dies, and he marries his former sister-in-law in a matter of weeks? It looks like it's weeks. I don't know. But I think, that turnaround, it to me is obvious that while he might not be trying to accelerate the access to the fortune, if you will, he is trying to at least enjoy the luxury of having it in life.
Well, sure.
That's what I was gonna.
As is Ernest, at the beginning, I think, because even Molly says you're a coyote.
Yeah.
Coyotes want money,
Which to that point, it almost says this is gonna sound bad because I don't mean it in the sense of everyone. I'm sure there were an Osage woman married a white man who was actually kind and honest and loved them. But it almost makes you wonder why, because Lizzie Q says, you all marry white men. It makes you wonder why they would. You know what I mean?
Because they're getting buttered up.
Yeah, maybe. That has to be it. Because early on, Ernest sees an old friend of his and his wife. He's she's full blood, and it's you say that she's a exotic animal or something. You know what I mean? It's some
right.
It's fascinating.
Well,
go on.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was wrapping up. Your
But on the point of why would they if they knew that that's the motivation, why would they continually marry white men? Think about the conversation that they're having at the little get together. I don't know if it's a naming ceremony for one of the children or if it was someone getting married, but they're all outside in a tent chilling, and one of her sisters straight up says he just wants your money, and then she's like, well, it's understandable, he wants to settle, he wants to settle down, and it could be seen that that's he wants access to my money, but it also means that he wants to build a life with me, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Then the other sister says no, he loves you, legit.
Because she says well, his uncle already has money, so he doesn't.
Yeah, which is a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just wild, but I will say that I think Augie's at the door. I'm not letting you in. It was so strange that they felt that she fell in love with him. That Molly fell in love with him because I don't know,
because of who he is, because because of his shitty haircut, Hunter. What?
Well, just he's just so, I don't know. It's just so not charming, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair. That's not fair for me to say. Because I really do think that he loves her. I do think that.
Mm-hmm. On the topic of, sorry, this is a throwback to like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. But on the topic of this film drug at times, I will say that there was at least one scene where I was trying to determine whether Ernest had just like really, really tobacco stained teeth or if he had wooden teeth. And I was like, how long ago was this? Because
really?
Some people used to have wooden teeth,
Which scene was it?
I don't know. They were inside talking. It might have been when the storm was going on, which was a cute little scene. But or no, it wasn't in that scene. But I don't remember what was going on. But he just kept smiling, and I kept seeing his teeth, and I was like, "Are those? Is it? It's tobacco stained. I'm pretty sure he has tobacco stained teeth.
He's got gross teeth,
not wooden teeth like I thought."
Anyway, so it's so hard to cover all of it because so much happens, but but we see these relationships kind of develop. Like they have a couple kids, but then like his brother is involved with Anna. Are they involved? I couldn't tell.
It would appear as if they are because he starts flirting with the poor little.
Oh my god, dude, that scene was awful.
Yeah.
The maid.
Yeah, the maid essentially, and then Anna starts freaking out pulls a gun out of her purse and shoots him. She probably should have, because then he shoots her later. Or no, he doesn't shoot her. Someone else does.
No, but he holds her up while she gets shot.
Right.
But yeah, these things starts to escalate. So Anna gets killed. And it's just, it's so bad to see this because everyone around her just dying, her whole family is killed.
Right.
It's implied that Lizzie Q dies. Oh, wait a second. I'm reading this, and this says that Lizzie Q is being poisoned. So, yeah, this is implying that everyone who had, the wasting illness was being poisoned.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it gets to a point where there's an Osage council, and they're like, we have to do something. And so they send a white man to DC, and then he gets murdered.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. He seems like he hadn't even left town yet, right? And he's just let me stop at the saloon before I head out. He just gets fucking stabbed in the alley.
Well, so I think he was in DC because I saw the Capitol, but it's like he had just checked. He was checking into his hotel, and he gets a postcard that said be careful, be real careful. And then the next scene is him getting stabbed in the alleyway. So he's made it a day, and then we see the PI gets. It looks like he gets killed because we never see him again.
Well, yes, we do, because we see him get roughed up, and this is one of those scenes that I was talking about where it's that happens, and then 30 or 45 minutes of movie happens, and then it's oh yeah, by the way, we killed those two people, and it goes back to those scenes, and we actually see the guy who was sent to the Capitol laying there dead. And then we go back to that scene where the private investigator's been beat up. He might not have been killed, though. He may have been just
chased out and beaten up.
Right.
Yeah, those kind of cuts didn't bother me. That felt, I don't know. I feel like I've seen that in Scorsese stuff before, where it's just maybe not Scorsese, but I've seen it in movies where they're talking about something, and then just for a second they'll just show it real fast.
Sure. Yeah.
And those cuts I think are interesting. I actually kind of like those kind of flashes, those flashbacks or cuts.
Sometimes the cuts, I guess the reason they felt weird to me, and it wasn't a bad thing, it was just it stuck out to me, right? I don't want to give the impression that this was I didn't like this about the film, but it definitely stuck out to me, was because we were retreading the same shots for them.
Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
For
a couple of them, it was literally the same footage. It just rolled longer. which was an interesting way to. Whereas I feel like in other films where I've seen something like that, it's like, oh yeah, we offed those guys. Like if we were watching fucking Goodfellas or something, they'd be like, yeah, we offed those guys. And not that they talk like I don't know. Anyways, and then we would see them off. We would see them off those guys like for 5 seconds, and then it would cut back, right? But we wouldn't have seen it previously, or we wouldn't have seen like.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I think that's the part that maybe is weird, is that we already saw it. Or we already saw enough to imply that it happened.
Right.
That's not even the case, because in the case of the guy that they sent to Washington, we see him get killed. Like he's getting stabbed. So you're like, he's dead.
Right. And then we cut back to it and we just see him dead on the ground.
And his like little name tag. And it's like, we didn't forget. We know that he got killed. I get that. That's a valid point that you're making. But they even go to like the president, and she's like, has this anguished plea to him. You're like, please, like no one's doing, like no one's helping. Please don't care. People are getting murdered. And he just says like, thank you very much for coming. And just like walks away, and she's just sort of stunned.
Well, isn't it right after the FBI shows up?
Well, I was going to say, eventually, I think in real life it took, like, it might have been like at least a year or two more. But they do eventually send out some agents, which is Tom White, and then he has some assistants, like a bunch of undercover agents from the from BOI, the Bureau of Investigation. And this is interesting because this is when you start to realize, like, the walls are closing in on everybody, because everybody keeps saying stuff like, oh, you should go to this person. And he's like, well, I did. And they told me to come to you.
Right.
Or they're just like, they didn't tell me anything. No one's saying anything.
How do you feel about Ernest? Like literally going and paying somebody to blow up his sister-in-law's house?
Dude, that was another part of this where I was like, is this really how it happened? Because you just like walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I need somebody killed. Can you help me out? And they'll just be like, go ask Bill. Bill can help you out. And it seemed like this super, not even open secret. It just was like a known, like, hey, go see AC if you want to blow something up. Go see Blackie if you want someone to get killed. Go see, so-and-so. And the like Henry Grammer guy was Wikipedia. It says it was American cowboy, bootlegger, and murderer from Texas who was posthumously inducted into the National Rodeo Hall of Fame
in 2000.
So I don't understand. Like how, like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy was famous, and
yes,
we don't see anybody. We don't see him kill anybody in the movie, but he's the guy who's like, oh yeah, go ask this guy to blow him up. And this actually says, in like his bio, it says like he was implicated in the murders of Rita and Bill Smith, and it says Grammer was Hale's alibi because the pair was traveling to Fort Worth for a fat stock show, rodeo show. But it does say that he ran a moonshine outfit and employed thieves, robbers, cattle rustlers, and people who had ties to the mob. And let me see what it says. It says in August 1920, he was acquitted for the killing of Jim Barry. So that's the part that was wild to me. Is I guess, what years were the Wild Wild West? That's kind of a random question, but this feels like the Wild Wild West, where it's like,
what do you mean?
Well, like, hold on a second. When was the Wild West? Oh, okay. No, this is like the 1600s. So no, it wasn't. But this is what it felt like. It felt like these were like just outlaws who were just like, yeah, we do crimes, and it's just like known. You know what I mean? So I think it's wild. I think it's crazy. And then he was like, "Hey, I'll throw in my Buick."
Wild Wild West came out in '99.
The one with Will Smith and the giant spider.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it was funny how little they tried to disguise insurance fraud.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, I got to take a life insurance policy out on this guy. He's really healthy, but just in case. And then like a week later, it's like, oh, he died. Can I cash in my $30,000 now, please?
Mm-hmm. Or we like the same insurance agent. We see another guy. I don't remember who it is, but we see another guy go in there and say, "Hey, my wife is full blood Osage, and she had 2 kids before we got married."
Oh yeah. That's
if
the guy
she,
who he kills Anna. That's the guy.
If she and the 2 kids all died, would I get the head right, or something like that, right? And the guy's like, just to be clear, you're asking me if you pulled out this policy and then killed 3 of your family members if you'd be entitled to money? And he's like, well, yeah, because I'm not going to do it if it doesn't. And then he doesn't get arrested. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, that was something that was also quite like, it just kind of put me aback, I guess, where it was like, that it's that same guy when this is like later on in the trial. I know that we're already at an hour, but this is a long movie where they're just asking him, and the guy, who's the guy who plays
Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, it's the guy who plays the prosecutor lawyer. I know his face. I can't think
Jesse
of his
Plemons.
name.
Tom White.
No. The actual, he's the older guy. He's been in tons of stuff. What's his name?
John Lithgow.
Maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It's John Lithgow. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's it. You are right. He's just asking like what happened, and the guy's like, okay, so then you took her down there, got her drunk, and murdered her. And he was like, yep. He's like, oh no, so and so held her up, and then I just shot her. Mm-hmm. He's like, then you left. He's like, yeah, we just left. And he was just, it's something like, did you ever go back there? And he's like, well, yeah, it's a good place for parties and drinking. And he's just so like, yeah. He's like, what? What about it? It's just wild. It's just wild that was the demeanor, I guess, of it. And I kind of went off on a tangent there. I know I've been rambling, but to answer your question, I thought it was wild that he felt so comfortable going up to multiple people saying, hey, can you commit this assassination for me, please?
The funny thing is that wasn't even my question.
Well, you were saying like how to feel about Ernest going around and paying people to blow up a house.
No, my question was, how do you feel about the fact that Ernest went and paid someone to blow up a house, and then the night that it happened, he had this look of horror on his face that it had happened?
Oh yeah. Okay, you didn't finish your question. I interrupted you.
I didn't.
Before.
No, but it's okay. We had a cool little conversation.
I think so. I thought that was when he kind of started to be like, "Wait a second, maybe this isn't like a good idea."
Yeah, but then he's still complicit in a bunch of stuff. Like he's still trying to cover things up, and he's still not like he doesn't. The switch doesn't flip to where he's like, "I am against my uncle," right? I don't think it ever fully flips.
It's only like when his daughter dies that he's like,
right.
But that was more so because he's like, I have to get home to Molly, basically, not.
But his daughter was probably being poisoned because she had the whooping cough.
Yeah, whooping cough's no joke. Hollis had that when he was younger.
Yeah.
Dude, that scene, there's some really graphic things, obviously, in this movie that were unexpected. Like when they start like sawing Anna's brain, just like there, like
in front of everybody
in public, which we find out later because the FBI people are like, did you ever find the bullet? And they're like, no, and like so that's why you cut open her brain. And he was like, yeah, to try and find the bullet.
They didn't just cut open her brain. Did you hear what they were saying?
Yeah, like he was
They
like, "Is that why
cut her into pieces?
Yeah, and they're just like, "Yeah, we couldn't find it."
And they found the bullet and they got rid of it.
Well, it's not just that; it's that you obviously see that she was shot in the top of the head. Why did you cut her body up into a bunch of pieces?
I wasn't sure if that could have been like a black humor situation. I don't know.
Maybe. But then like when like Rita is laying there very peacefully on like the slab of wood when the house blows up, and then they try and pick her up, and her just like the back of her head is just like, I was like, whoa, man, that's a lot.
Yep. And isn't Bill saying shoot me? Like, is that what he was saying?
Yeah, he was saying like, shoot me, somebody shoot me.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a tough scene, man. That was, And then like every time, like he said, someone has to tell Molly, like her reaction. I mean, she was incredible in this movie. I foresee, for Lily Gladstone, I foresee, an Oscar nom. If I had to guess, if I was a betting man, I would say that she would get an Oscar nom. But, yeah, dude, it's just like that scene. Because they all like move into town. Like they come off the reservation, they move into town. That was tough. And what's crazy is like, to your point, he's all like, what was that? Like, what's going on? And it's like, dude, you paid somebody to
You did this.
say
like,
this
quite
has
literally.
to happen. Yeah. This is random. I'm jumping ahead though. What do you think of old Brendan Fraser?
Oh goodness. That when he was all the way on 11 the second you hear him talk. And I don't know, I thought it was a brilliant cameo because it definitely got my attention and it was definitely jarring. But think about how jarring it is. Like, we're under the impression that Ernest is about to testify, and that like he's just going to walk up there and testify, and then we're going to move on with the film. And so to have this like well-established actor who is just now like restarting to like beginning to act again after like
He's having a renaissance,
a long hiatus, and for him to portray the role in that way. It definitely got my attention. It was very, very strong. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was in this like I never saw The Whale. But Hannah obviously recognized him and stuff, and from the stuff, and she was like, I feel like he's always at 11. Is that how you said it? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen The Mummy and like I think I've only seen it once in my entire life. But even when he gave his speech when he won his Oscar, he's very like emotive in the way he speaks. I think he's brilliant. I think it's great. But I was like, whoa, who is this? And I was like, but then I was like, oh, cool, it's Brendan Fraser. But even like the rest of his scenes, like when he was just talking to Ernest, he was very like, do you understand what's happening?
Yeah.
But I think it was great. I thought it was, I think it was really cool. Who was Pete Yorn?
What?
I'm talking to myself. Dude, there's so many like musicians. Pete Yorn, who played AC, is like a singer-songwriter. And then
Jack White,
Cyril Simpson. But then there was somebody else. Charlie Musselwhite was a pivotal figure to help revive the Chicago blues movement of the 1960s. He played with like Mike Bloomfield, and Alvin Bishop, and Paul Butterfield, and it's like that's awesome to me. Like that's, I know people might not care. I didn't know who that was, but I think that's awesome to know that person's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Corbin. Oh, that dude, that's so funny. Hold on, this is a random little tangent. So, one of Hannah's favorite shows in high school was One Tree Hill. Okay,
Okay.
you ever seen One Tree Hill?
Yes.
Okay, so I've watched the entire series with her, and a very prominent figure on the show was the basketball coach Whitey, who was played by Barry Corbin. And I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, okay? But the dude who sells the caskets, he's the super, super old guy. He showed up and we both go, oh, look, it's Whitey. So he
That's
has
funny.
all these people. I think that's I don't know, I think that's awesome that, like, you know, I think it's cool. What else do you want to talk about? I know that we're going over. Otherwise, we can talk about the ending.
Well, I mean, we definitely need to talk about the ending. But so Molly is being poisoned. She's getting more and more sick. Meanwhile, Ernest is doing his shitty little shit. And when he gets taken into custody by Tom White and company, because there's like a whole little cadre of BOI agents that come to town, and they're arresting people.
Yes. And sorry, quick thing to add to your thing. Hale starts tying up loose ends.
Well, he's trying to.
Well, yeah, like, so he sets up AC. He sets up, I don't know his name, the guy who killed Anna. He sets up Blackie.
But it doesn't really pay off because a lot of them turn on him. So anyways, that was a shitty...
Blackie survives. AC, one of them dies. I think AC
dies. Yeah. Oh, is AC the one that gets tipped off about the store to rob, and then he tells the store owner that they're going to rob him at this time with these people?
Yeah.
He just gets fucking shot with the shotgun. Anyways, when Ernest gets picked up, they go and find Molly and take her to like a proper hospital. And she starts to get better, and she begins to regain her strength, and she's present for the trial, I guess, like where Ernest testifies. At the end of the film, she hears Ernest like spill the beans and say everything, and this is, by the way, this is only hours after Ernest is like, they're going to make me tell these terrible lies. This is not the truth, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But he fucks up because he's up there and he's telling this and he's telling that and and then he says, I love her. I do. I love, and she's like, well, hold on. I think that's true. So these other things must be true as well. But she doesn't fuck with him anymore. Right. And,
well, yeah. Cause she asked like, what was in the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, but it's funny cause you can see on his face that he knows that it's more than just insulin, but he still just says insulin.
Right. Well, because he can't help but to lie. He's this little fucking rat man who is weak. He has no guts, literally. He might have wooden teeth, and he just sucks. He really sucks, and he sort of like reaps what he sows.
Yeah.
And he sewed like a shitty little shirt with holes in it.
Not gonna do you much good.
And it's also not the right kind of sewing because he's an idiot. See?
Yeah.
The whole thing is
small
just
too.
He's stupid with wooden teeth. It's the whole premise of the film. So anyway, she leaves him. She gets married 2 years later. Yes, let's talk about the ending. So the epilogue, if you will, is this like really quirky, like radio show with all the sound effects, right? So what did you think about that? What do you think it was? What is Scorsese saying?
I thought it was really, really good. It was like the precursor, like true crime podcasts,
Okay. Yeah.
Which I actually read somewhere that's apparently, I haven't heard of anything, but like people have learned about this through like true crime podcasts. I don't know if that's
okay.
If he was like paying homage to that. But to me, it almost is like it's kind of it's funny in a really demented way. It's not like it's ha funny, but it's like this commentary on like this awful thing that was sort of brushed aside in history, but then is like used as entertainment.
That's exactly it. So I don't think he's paying homage to anything. I think he's critiquing the way that we take these awful events and turn them into entertainment and have these wonky like radio shows with all the. I will say the way they were making the sound effects, it was pretty cool.
Dude, Foley's incredible. Foley, whatever you want to call it. I think it's called Foley. Sorry. But yeah, then to have himself come out and say something, because he's doing the same thing in a sense, you know, like there's one way there's one thing to tell a story that you think and believe needs to be told and shared. That's important. But at the same time, he's making entertainment, whether he wants to say it's content or not. I think there is merit and there's purpose behind art. And I think as art is critical and is pivotal and is essential in life. But yeah, somebody's going to go see the movie because they want to be entertained at the same time. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that is an unfair assessment of what film is intended to be.
Then why'd you make it?
Because I'm just making observations, man.
Okay.
I think it's a more apt observation of what the like cinema industry is right now. Anyway, maybe that's his point. You know, maybe that's his point more. Is that it's just about entertainment and content. But I do think, like you said, like I think that is definitely a commentary on like, look at this awful thing. Let's make it entertainment for white people.
Right. Yeah. I think about, and you know, I partake in this because I love a good true crime podcast. But like you're like riding to work or like going to Kroger and you're like you're being entertained about this like really in detail graphic retelling of someone being like fucking murdered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's crazy.
Not like, oh, a what if or like some spooky story, but it's like, no, this was real and a person died. That's like there's things on the internet. You know, you can find videos, especially right now. There's a lot of things happening in the world where you just see videos of things getting blown up, and I'm just like, I don't like seeing this because I know, like, there are people like I don't want to see somebody's last moments, even if you don't actually see them. But it's like it's about ratings, it's about views, it's about I don't know. But I thought it was a really interesting way of presenting that observation, you know, that criticism of that. Because it is like a silly little radio show, you know. I thought it was very good.
And the last thing he says essentially is that her obituary omitted the murder, like it didn't mention the murders at all. Erased.
Well, of course not. Yeah. I don't know a lot about Native American history or like the Native American history within the U.S. But I imagine based on this film and kind of what was, it would be like, I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't even, if like her family wasn't even allowed to, you know what I'm saying? Like even if they tried to put it in there.
What family? Like, did she had a son?
I thought they had 3 kids. I thought there were 2 left, I thought.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, so of course it wasn't mentioned. But I really enjoyed the final shot, you know, kind of showing the modern Osage that they've persevered. But that is the film. Do you have anything else to add, sir?
Nope.
This was a doozy. Well then, Zach, I have to ask Athena something. I told her that I'd ask her.
Mm-hmm.
Athena, wake up. Told you she can't talk.
She can talk. She's just sleeping.
Well, then I'll ask. Actually, I'll ask you, Zach. But is Killers of the Flower Moon good?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's good.
It's excellent. No, this is one of the best films we'll watch all year. Maybe one of the, maybe one of the best films we've already watched. I don't know how the rest of the year is going to shake out. And it's a Golden Good nominee. I'm
There
sorry.
it is.
I know we've been throwing them out there left and right,
I've lost track.
but this is a Golden Good nominee. It has to be. To me, and I'm not going to pit them against each other right now. We'll do that at the end of the year. But I will say that to me, it's a question of right now this year, Oppenheimer versus Killers of the Flower Moon.
I was going to say, yeah, Oppenheimer is probably what you're going to say. I would have to agree with that.
What if I said fucking Shrek or something? Well, we didn't do Shrek this year, but what if I
Shrek's
said
a good
something?
movie.
Shrek is a good movie. Okay, so maybe that would be okay. Sorry. What have we done this year?
You said,
What
like,
movies have we
Morbius?
done? Was Morbius this year?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of what we've done that we haven't liked this year. Indiana Jones 5.
Indiana Jones. It wasn't bad.
Black
Come
Adam.
on.
Black Adam.
Was that this year? Are you sure? I thought that was
Yeah.
late last year.
I can't remember. I think it was this year.
Black Adam was November 7th, 2022.
The Flash.
Oh, yeah. The Flash.
There you
Yeah.
go. The Flash.
Oh, God.
There you have it.
Oh,
Golden
between
Good.
this and Prestige. Haha, get it.
Cutter didn't know, man.
Cutter knew.
All right. We'll try and get through these shindigs decently quickly because it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Every movie sucks. Every movie sucks.
Every movie sucks. Every movie sucks.
This wait, that's gonna be that's sarcasm. Here's one. This is Kareem. Krispy Kareem. Oh, that's funny. Well done, sir. That's a good name. Half star. Who actually enjoys this shit?
Poop Scoop Review says mid-tin Scorsese lays another turd, more like Lily Badstone. I do like Lily Badstone because she's a baddie, motherfucker. I hate you, Poop Scoop Review.
This is Adrian Alderete? Woof. Misguided, unfocused, disrespectful, but above all, unnecessary. Never thought I'd walk out of a Marty joint saying this, but this is a stupid-ass waste of time.
Cappy Barron says, it is impossible to watch 3.5 hours of a movie, man. Plain impossible. Going to see it in theaters is giving the authors clear sign that this is permissible. It ain't.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm going to end this one. I'm going to end with this one. This is simple. I think it's very fitting for Martin Scorsese. Flop 08 says half star. I prefer TikTok.
Ouch.
I want to see what they've reviewed. Their favorite film is a movie called Brazil. Little Miss Sunshine's pretty good, actually. Buffalo 66. Recent activity. Cocaine Bear. They gave
I gave Cocaine Bear 5 stars.
5 stars.
Barbie 2.5.
Asteroid City was 4 stars. I like that movie though.
Backs up that it's a shitty movie.
Air was 3 stars. But he hated this. Half star. Wow. Okay, there you go. Every movie sucks. Every movie sucks. Every movie sucks. Okay, I'm going to do my shindig. Here we go. Real fast. It's time for my shindig. Time for my shindig. Time for my shindig. This news of the week. News of the week. News of the week. It's news of the week. Elon Musk has sent a quote-unquote scorched earth letter to Warner Brothers threatening to burn the house down if they did not bring Amber Heard back for Aquaman 2, and I found that hilarious. We got our first look at the Fire Nation from Netflix's upcoming Avatar The Last Airbender show. Gary Dauberman and James Wan's Atomic Monster production company are developing a live-action Gargoyles, which apparently was a cartoon in the 80s. I didn't know that. Timothée Chalamet gave an interview talking about his camaraderie with his Dune 2 cast members, and I have news for you. He has confirmed that Austin Butler's Elvis accent is gone. It's a slow news week. That's the news. Brie Larson apparently wants to stop playing Captain Marvel. And then, listen to this. Hayao Miyazaki has a highly anticipated hand-drawn feature film coming out called The Boy and the Heron. Listen to this cast, okay? You ready? Are you ready or are you typing?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I know it's gonna. I know it's gonna fuck because his casts always fuck.
Listen to this. This is Christian Bale, Florence Pugh, Mark Hamill, Gemma Chan, Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, Dave Bautista, and Karen Fukuhara.
Yeah.
That's stout, dude.
That's right. Hey, you haven't seen many Miyazaki films, have you?
I haven't, but I want to see that one. And then last one, I'm going to end on some sad news. Suzanne Summers from Three's Company passed away. So rest in peace to her, and that is the news of the week. Zach, what is your shindig now that the Braves are not playing baseball anymore?
Oh, Falcons won. Did you see that? They beat Falcons. The Buccaneers today in overtime.
Hey, Atlanta United made the playoffs.
Did they?
That's exciting. Barely, by the skin of their teeth.
Wow.
Do you want to give like a baseball playoff update, or do you, or are you just bitter?
Let's see. It's gonna
the
be
Rangers
a fucking.
Are winning.
They are.
The Rangers are
exciting.
winning. 3-1.
That's good. That's good for baseball. It's so interesting to me how the Rangers-Astros series, the away team has won every single game.
That's wild.
And that trend may continue today.
If that trend continues the entire time, it doesn't bode well for the Rangers.
No, it doesn't bode well for the Astros.
Are they home team? Does Rangers have home field advantage?
The Astros have home field advantage.
Oh, you're right. Good point.
So if the away team wins every game,
you are correct.
and the Rangers have 4 away games, then they're good to go.
You are correct.
But they are both in Texas, so maybe it's less of like a home away.
That's true.
You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have shit. Sports.
Yeah.
Basketball starting.
Basketball is starting
soon. Like this week? When does basketball? When does basketball start?
You got to think of a shindig.
No,
if anybody's crazy enough to have listened through this point, you got to think of something good to give them.
Give me something good, baby. I think the basketball starts on Tuesday.
The basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Hawks going to be any good?
The Hawks do look like they might be good.
That's so exciting.
I mean, cool. We'll see.
Well, Zach, that's very Hawk of you. That's very sports of you.
There you go. As a sports thing I've done all week.
Do you have your whiskey ready?
Uh-huh.
You do? To whiskey?
To whiskey.
You can tell them where to find us, Zach.
I don't know. I don't know.
Fine,
I know
I'll
you
do
can
it.
find us at biigpodcast@gmail.com, but I think we have a couple other email addresses as well,
We
don't we?
have easier ones. We have buddisagoodpodcast@gmail.com and buddisagood@gmail.com.
But not
And
just BIIG.
No.
We should hop on
I
that.
can try and get that. That's fine. And then you can find us at Bud is a Good Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can find us at BIIG Podcast on X or Twitter. I still don't like saying X. It sounds weird. You can follow me at Hunter Callahan Music anywhere. You can follow Zach on Instagram at Zach with an H to the number, the THA, future.31. And that's it. We're doing The Shining next week, right?
Yep. So shine on, beautiful people.
Oh, also, we had 2 people request to be a guest on Ferrari. I don't know if they know this yet, but it's Ethan and Brooks, so they can have a fight to the death to figure out who gets to do it.
Yeah, we should so invite them both. We're going to invite them both, and then when they show up, we're going to break a pool stick in half and have tryouts.
Make it fast. Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank
Please,
you.
You know what? Leave a review. You know that we are a 5-star podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Shit.
Both of them. Both
Never
of
gotten
them.
anything less than 5 stars.
5 stars on both platforms. That's pretty cool. Let's keep it going. Don't just give us 5 stars, even if you hate it. Anyway, we're gonna go. Bye.
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 But is it good podcast? Yeah.